and welcome to the 2018 BCU student elections. Day 3, in fact, here. And today we have 3 roles up for grabs where the candidates are going to be pitching themselves and hoping to be elected for the President, International Students Officer and Vice President Engagement, respectively. As ever, please do keep your questions coming into our live Facebook stream page at the Birmingham City Students' Union. And tweet anything across to @BCUSU, #LeadBCUSU, as well as any questions which will be answered by, that the audience should throw across to the candidates. So without further ado, we have the 2 candidates here looking to become the president here for 2018. We have Vicky Glynn and Natalie Chan. So they'll be starting off by pitching themselves. So if we'd like to go with yourself first of all then please, Vicky. You have 60 seconds, which when my computer clock decides to work, you can go. Okay, take it away then, Vicky, please.
Hi everyone, my name is Vicky. I'm currently Vice President Student Experience, and in 16-17 I was also the Mature and Postgraduate Officer. I don't make promises that I can't keep, so in my current role I've worked incredibly hard, which has resulted in achieving or solidly working towards 8 out of 10 manifesto goals for this year. I've also built incredibly strong relationships with senior university staff who listen to the changes I propose. Now I have the opportunity to take those manifesto goals to the most senior university committees to continue making positive change that has a wider impact.
Okay, yep, that's 60 seconds there. Thank you very much for that, Vicky. And Natalie, your time starts now.
Challenge for President. But this is more than a slogan. This is a challenge for myself to deliver the best students' experience possible and a challenge for students to always hold me accountable. A president is responsible for all higher education issues, and that is why my pledge is that students are at the heart of every decision we make. For example, mental health needs to be addressed, but tomorrow the government might announce something about fees. You need a president who is adaptable, and I am the president who will challenge for whatever issue it is that's mattering to you and prioritise issues according to how urgent it is. Improving students' experience is a two-way thing. On the one hand, you need a president that's lobbying the university, but you also need a president who will actually actively empower students to take charge of their own university journey and utilise everything BCU has to offer. I am the candidate that delivers both. Vote Natalie Chan for your #1 president.
Fantastic. All in 57 seconds. Right. Okay, then. So we've had the 2 pitches there, a minute from our 2 candidates. Do we have a question to start off with from our studio audience? Okay, then. Right. We'll go on to the first question we have that's come in here on the computer. Okay. Right. Well, the thing that's come over to me now on the stream says, how will you make sure you represent all students in committees and nationally? And that question there, first of all, goes to Vicky, who has 90 seconds to answer it.
So I can represent all students in committees. I already do this at the Student Experience and Learning and Teaching Committee. I am a Liberation student. I have a hearing disability. I'm also a mature student. I have more experience of representing a wider background of students. I listen to students. I take on board what they want and take it forward. I have respectable relationships with senior university management in these committees to be able to get them to listen to what students want.
Thank you very much. And over to yourself, please, Natalie.
So in the current officer structure, we have 7 liberation officers. It's really, really important that as president, I work as a team with all our liberation group officers. So before going into these university committees or responding to a consultation, I will actively seek out to the liberation officers as well as that particular liberation group to get their views and make sure I am equally balancing everyone's views. In terms of nationally, if you've seen my banner, I have great experience working with the West Midlands Mayor, and I have previous experience taking issues to the local city council, including international visa issues. And I'm not afraid to challenge what will make things better for you, and I will strive all I can to do it. And now that I understand how to put things through university meetings, through putting in paper, doing research, doing surveys to get the evidence, I will strive my best to do detailed research and deliver that. Thank you.
Natalie, thank you very much. Okay then, so on to the next question we've had that's come in here now. Okay, it is, I can get the thing working here. I do have a few technical issues here today, so you must have to bear with me 1 second, please. Okay. It looks as if I've actually been beaten by someone else here in the audience asking to get their question across first. Okay. Question there to the lady in the audience there, please.
Yes, my question to you is, what qualities do you have that will equip you to do your job as president?
Okay, if we could start that 90 seconds then, please, for Vicky.
So I'm friendly, I'm approachable, I enjoy working with people. Before I was a student, I spent nearly 12 years working with people. I listen to people, I take on board what it is that they want, and I'm not afraid to be honest and open with people as well. I really, really thrive on working with and for people and representing students. And I think that encompassed with the experience I've had over the last year and my previous working experience means that I can represent students.
Vicky, thank you very much. And yourself, please, Natalie.
So if you've previously looked at what's been mentioned in the AGM, we currently have about just under 3,000 society members, a couple of thousand students who are engaged with the union. But we have 24,000 students here at BCU. I'm a very friendly person. I have different techniques to speak to different students and get them involved, to understand them, to initiate a conversation. And I think that's what really needed as a president, to actually reach out to students. And I will always be there for you. I work really hard. I've always been going the extra mile to make sure all students are taken care of. And of course, I will strive my best to understand and listen and kind of get a balance between different things, as well as doing research, looking at what other unions are doing across the country, getting advice from staff members, as well as logically putting my argument forward in university meetings. So I have done that as my current VP development, and I will carry on doing that. And previously, I have logistically listed out the issues that are currently with employability that is not very centralised. I've sent a really organised email to the Vice-Chancellor, and now change is happening. The ground floor of the Curzon building, the accommodation office, will be turned into a centralised careers hub for all part-time jobs, for all placements, careers advice, and I have inputted into that. So.
Okay, Natalie, we have to stop you there, I'm afraid, but thank you very much for that. Okay, well, we've had the first message that's come across here on one of the other social media platforms. A message here from Jalil Malik. He says, what can you do to increase scholarship opportunities for students? And that question will be firstly up there to be asked by Vicky.
So scholarships obviously quite hard to come by. They usually involve quite heavy amounts of money. I think with the fees changes that may happen with the fees review, that could be a possibility if fees are lower. That's something I'm happy to fight for. And scholarships, not everybody can afford to come to university. Not everybody wants to take that debt on. Some of the students we represent here come from some of the most deprived backgrounds in Birmingham. And I think scholarships are one way of making sure that students can access higher education. And why shouldn't they? I'm happy to speak to the Vice-Chancellor, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, to try and increase the number of scholarships BCU offer.
Thank you very much. And yourself, please, Natalie.
So, who's seen a stay campaign happening across VCU? There's literally a poster down there. That's a new campaign that the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Claire Mackey, has proposed to encourage our undergrad students to stay on for postgraduate studies. But if you see stay, who actually knows all the details about how to apply for this scholarship? So, on the one hand, at first, I really want to make sure all of the students are actually aware of what currently is on offer before doing any further lobbying. So, of course, I will make myself available to all students at all times. I will reach out to every single one of you, let you know what's available. That's first of a start. And, of course, yes, if that, as I said, students will be at the heart of every decision we make at university level. And if that's a demand from students, I will take it on the board through university committees. So the role of president, whoever is elected, sits on the university academic board and board of governors, who are the highest decision-making committees. And I'll be happy to, through research, statistics, looking at students' income, how many students are suffering, having to apply for hardship funds, using all those information together to lobby the university.
Thank you, Natalie. So we have to stop you there, I'm afraid. Thank you for your answer to that question. Okay, well, the next message that's come across, it's actually going to be for both of you to answer, but first off, we can continue with yourself, please, Natalie. It says, it's from Lucky Adin. It says, I have a question. I noticed that you have put down strengthen the personal tuition system. I think that's referring to yourself there, Natty. I would like to know what work you have done prior to this and how you are planning to strengthen this system. The question is open to both of you, but if you could answer that first, please, Natalie.
So, currently, the reason we have 4 VPs in the Students' Union is that we can all utilise our strengths to focus on the area that we're meant to be focusing on. However, the power of 3 of the President is to deal with all higher education issues. Whilst I might not have the experience working across personal tuition right at this minute, that doesn't mean I won't do a marvellous job. The skills I have developed as your current VP development in terms of improving employability can be transferable. I believe if we submit a paper starting from the academic board to come down, and each personal tutor actually cares about what the students want, to give them more specific information, these little things will really enhance their university life. I'm sure you all received emails from Graduate Plus. There is 10 amazing things listed out, but only one thing might be relevant to you. If a personal tutor knows what you're good at, who do you want to look to become, what are your goals at the university, they can more effectively deliver information to students, and also, of course, on the other hand, signpost them to the right opportunities, whether it's further support or if you want funding to set up your own business. The personal tutor should be doing all of those things for the student and be trained to how to deliver that, the best possible student's experience, so you'll all be happy.
Natalie, thank you very much. And do you want me to repeat the question?
No, that's fine.
Oh, you've got, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's
Yourself then, please, Vicky.
So I'm currently on a personal tutoring working group within the Students' Union. I am an active member of the Student Experience and Learning Teaching Committee, which discusses personal tutoring. I also work with the Education Development Service to help push forward better personal tutoring. While I was a student, personal tutoring on a career and sort of course-based level was great. It was fine, but on a holistic level, dealing with someone with a mental health issue, personal tutoring wasn't that great. So I've got the personal experience of not having the best personal tuition to be able to passionately push forward and make sure that the university are listening, that we're equipping our tutors to have the skills that they need to effectively support students. Some students haven't even met their personal tutor, so we need to actually work on making that happen through the student academic leaders, through the school reps, and just having a plan so that students know exactly who to go to through Moodle as well.
Thank you very much there, Vicky. Okay, so do we have any questions from our studio audience? Okay, well, we have 3 of them, actually. So if we could start, please, with the lady in the back row.
Okay, so you've discussed mental health provisions within the university, which is such an important point. Can you talk about what you've already done within your current roles and what impact that's had, and also not just that you want to help, but how you're going to help and how you're going to help resolve the current issues within the university on mental health provisions?
Okay, we'll start off with Natalie, please.
So, I will be really honest. I haven't put mental health as a priority as my current role as VP development. That is because we work as an officer team, and if there's other people currently focusing on, I will be focusing on other areas, so we maximise our team efforts to maximise the positive impact for students. However, I have personally delivered Mental Health Awareness Week 2017 alongside with the Mental Health Awareness Society and Mumit, which is the mental health coordinator, which I have utilised my strengths to draw students' attention, to get them comfortable talking to me, or chit-chatting about their weekend, or things like that. And then at which point the trained staff member will gradually took over to provide the support information, and that was huge success. as president, my role would be to create a safe space to empower students to make their own decision. Can I ask, currently, if you're feeling stress, will you just kind of ring up a friend to rant, or you actually take yourself to the ask desk to seek professional support? I want to empower students to understand that by actually taking themselves to actually seek support, they are making a life-changing decision that will benefit them a lifetime. But at the end of the day, it's a student's very own decision. And I think my strengths would be empowering students that you need to take charge of your own journey. It's beneficial for your entire lifetime. So that's why you should kind of reach out to go seek support. So I understand I do not have a lot of experience, but I will utilise my strengths to make what's best for students.
Okay, Natalie, so we have to stop you there, but thank you very much for that. And yourself, please, Vicky.
So I was one of the members, student members, who helped found the Mental Health Awareness Society with Joe Goodman, and then it passed to Alexander Davis. I have my own personal experiences of depression, anxiety and post-traumatic stress disorder, and it was some support from the university, but also some support from my GP. Since then, as mature and postgraduate officer, I worked on a number of events such as Mental Health Awareness Week, and now as VP Experience, I've worked on Time to Talk Day. I've set up events for University Mental Health Day, which is happening tomorrow. I'm actively working with Student Affairs to increase the offering. So I'm in contact with Claire Mackey, who has been given some budget to make things happen. But I've recently had £2,500 worth of funding secured from the university to set up a Student Minds peer support group. So I'm hoping that that will make students feel that actually they're not alone in their journey at university while they're suffering from mental health issues. There are so many students who are suffering with that, and we need to make sure they don't feel alone, that they don't feel isolated, and as a result drop out. So I'd like to see that from the Student Mind support group there is increased retention. I'd like to hope that we could get some more counsellors as well, and again make sure that those counsellors are ethically diverse so that they can reflect the diverse body of the students and appropriately support the students based on their background.
Some very strong issues touched on there. Thank you very much for that one there. Okay, and question now. We had, I believe there's another person in the audience wanted to ask a question. Was that right? The lady there on the second to front row, please.
Hello. I would like to know, as in your current roles, what have you done to personally talk to students and get to know what the students want? Like, how have you engaged with, say, societies? How have you engaged with minority groups and things like that? So I just want to know how you've already done that.
Natalie, please.
So most recently, I've done a campaign called What Do You Want to Achieve in 2018? Because I feel like for far too long, the university has been sort of like, oh, you should join a society, go see an employabilities advisor, go do this, go do that. But I've changed our aspect. I've actually went to ask students, what do you want to achieve? And from what they've written, our student voice assistants have been brilliant, helping me to go out and ask students that. And when the answers have all came back, I have personally responded to every single one of them and let them know, actually, if you want to get a good graduate job or you want to become a famous DJ, our Careers Plus support are here to support. I have spent a lot of time attending events to reach out to students. I went to the hackathon. I went to last month I went to Leeds with our Malaysian Students Association. I have empowered so many women to try out cheerleading for the first time. I've attended LGBT History Month discussions, and of course, if I'm elected as president, I will work with my team and the Liberation Officers. So as a union, we are reaching out to every person, not just me, but I've even been at the front line of the airport picking students up. So I think in my current role, wholeheartedly saying I have really exhausted every option, done everything I possibly can, use all the time I possibly can to come to you to say hello.
Okay, Natalie. Yeah. Yes, so we have to finish on that one there. But thank you very much for that one. And if you can answer as well, please, Vicky.
So I organised the Black History Month events, which was really engaging with students. We had things like a film night, We were going to have some talks. That didn't happen, unfortunately, because the speaker pulled out. I engage with mature students quite regularly. I've done the second family Christmas party this year. Hopefully we'll be having an Easter party for them as well. I engage with disabled students as well. Having a disability myself, I understand some of the situations they might find them with. With regards to society, I'm quite involved with things like the Mental Health Awareness Society, with Crafty Bitches. I'm a knitter myself. I try my best to get out to students as much as I can. But obviously with the demands of the role and working so hard, sometimes it is difficult to be out of the office, especially when you've got committee meetings that are coming up as well. I do like to try and get to events as much as I can. So I recently attended the International Students Festival last week, and that was an absolutely fantastic event with so many different cultures there. I engage with anybody, regardless of their background. I think it's important to just listen to the students, listen to what they need, and make sure that we are providing appropriate things for them.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you very much for that one there, Vicky. Okay, do we have one other question in the audience? The gentleman in the front row, please. If we could have... Thank you.
So as you're aware, this month's LGBT History Month, what have you done as officers to support this?
Okay, if you'd like to answer that one, please, Vicky.
So who's first?
Vicky, sorry.
Sorry.
The microphone, can you...
Sorry. So LGBT History Month, I've supported the officers sharing things on social media. Unfortunately, some of the events were in the evening. I do have 2 young children to look after, and my evenings aren't always free. I do my best to attend events wherever possible. As I say, I spent the evening at the International Festival last week. But yeah, and even when the students are in the office, the part-time officers are in the office as well, I do my best to support them. I'm open to everybody, so I'll support anybody. I know what it's like to be a part-time officer, which is why I do go out my way to try and support the part-time officers where I can.
Thank you very much there, Vicky. And yourself, please, Natalie.
So as you are aware, part-time officers are students who are doing the role alongside their studies. From sort of last-minute practical support like buying snacks for the film night, I'm willing to go out my way to do those things, to bigger things like actually being at the events, listening to the students, actively engaging with the discussions and actively engaging. So obviously, as the role of VP Development, I currently work really closely along societies, so I have actively encouraged societies to attend the LGBT History Month event because group leaders are people who will inspire their members. It's really important that we, as student leaders, we pass it down to the group leaders and let group leaders inspire the students. And we kind of, together, we create a space that's safe for everybody. I've also personally went to the Pride Parade, which is the very first in the history of BCU. We collaborated with Aston and Matthew Bolton College to raise awareness of LGBTQ inclusion around the city. That was really, really successful. Even staff members, even the staff network got involved. So this is something we stand in solidarity with the staff members, and this helps to build a really, really good relationship with the staff. The Director of Student Affairs was there, so that was really good to show that we work in partnership together.
Thank you very much there. Thank you very much, Natalie. Okay, right, well, we've had a number of, obviously, a lot of questions there from our student audience. Thank you very much for those. A number of Facebook messages here on our live stream, which I need to actually catch up on. Firstly, one here from Tarib Mahmood. He's asked, is there anything... Yes, it says, he's asked, is there anything you can do for students who struggle with travel? Students at the University of Birmingham have cheaper travel fares at their uni. Would this happen for our uni? And if we could carry on with yourself there, please, Natalie.
So I'm very aware of that. At the beginning of this year, I have got the contacts of the officers at University of Birmingham Guild of Students, because I believe we're one city, we should work together, and they have really helpfully given me the contacts of National Express. I've sent them 3-4 emails explaining to them that can this be offered to our current students. Unfortunately, this hasn't happened yet, so I've discussed with the current president, Jaspreet Singh. He has advised that we need to create more solid statistics of how many students actually travel from Solihull to Birmingham every day, for example. What route students use? Where do students commute from? So if elected as president, I will carry on working on that to utilise the students' voice resources we have and hopefully working better in partnership with the university, so they're willing to provide the or once the data sharing policy has been agreed with the university, we can hopefully access information of which areas students are travelling from Birmingham in from, and show statistics to the transport providers, and hopefully together we can make this happen.
Natalie, thank you very much. And yourself, please, Vicky.
So obviously BCU is 70% commuter students. We do have to take that into account. I know prior to Jaspreet working on this year, Joe Goodman started the work with the University of Birmingham to negotiate the £1 fee. For some reason, they didn't apply that to us. I would continue to push that because I think it's important that our students can travel within the region affordably. I also think that maybe there is an opportunity for the universities to subsidise travel. That is something potentially I could work with the environmental manager, Deborah Southwell. And I think as well, it's not just about those students who use buses and want cheaper fares. I think we also need to make sure that we're securing more and cheaper parking for those students who do travel in by car. Not everybody can travel in by bus. For those who have responsibilities where they have to travel to employment away from the university, or have childcare needs, or they care for somebody at home, not everybody can come by bus. So parking has to be affordable as well as bus fares.
Thank you very much for that one, Vicky. Okay, and on to the next message, which has come in, and I think there's a few others that had since then as well. Okay, well, the next question then is from Iris Bliss, and she's asked, the role of a students' union is to advocate for the students. If the administration of the university were to insist on pursuing a course of action that certain sections of the student body believe were against their best interests, sorry, it seems to have continued over. Oh dear me. I do apologise about this. It seems to have one of those extended messages. Okay. Okay, I'll start again. I'm sorry. Okay, Iris Bliss has asked, the role of a students' union is to advocate for the students. If the administration of the university were to insist on pursuing a course of action that certain sections of the student body believe were against their best interests, would you be willing to risk your reputation with the university establishment in order to fight this on behalf of the students? And if so, how would you go about this in order to protect said students? It's a very long question, but a good question. Okay, if we could start with yourself again, please, Vicky.
So I think we do have to represent a very diverse body of students. There have been issues with things like gender-neutral toilets. I know that not all staff, not all students are comfortable with that happening, but I think we do need to be inclusive, and we do need to make sure we're trying to cater for everybody. However, the Students' Union has to be here longer than we are here for. So I think it would be unfair to risk the reputation of the Students' Union by trying to go against the university. We have to work in partnership with the university to make sure that they continue supporting the Students' Union for years to come. And I think by burning bridges in that way, it wouldn't be right for the Students' Union and for the students long term. We would fight to make sure that we can try and come to a compromise, but I don't think it would be worth taking reputational risk for the Students' Union.
Okay, thank you very much there, Vicky. And yourself, please, Natalie.
Hi, everyone. First of all, I want to remind everyone that students, you are my boss. University is not my boss. You are my boss. I'm elected here to represent you students. So, I will do whatever I can to fight for you. Firstly, I'll address the two things first. One's about the diverse student body, and then about reputation. So firstly, on about diversity, we are a very diverse student body, as I said. So as Vicky's mentioned, I fully agree with her. Gender-neutral toilets, even the new interfaith space, there has been a lot of debates about that. The best way forward is to invite students of different views here, encourage them to have healthy discussions, listen to each other. Hopefully, we can come up with a compromised solution. And this is really beneficial to those students' personal development as well. Because what I'm thinking is when those students leave this place, when they go into the real working environment, they will also have these issues with their employer or fellow colleagues that might happen. So if we use this as a safe place, as a platform, to kind of help them to develop their skills of understanding other people's views or listening, then that will really, really help, and that will have a lifelong impact on their personal development. So I would always encourage students to have debates, and this is a safe space. About reputational risk. I will strive a balance, but as I said, as you might know me, I'm a very vocal person, and BCU has empowered me to be the woman I am today. With whatever I think is great, I will go for it. And I think university really values students who are willing to actually just be themselves, what they believe they should be. And yes, we need to protect the reputation of the Students' Union.
Okay, Natalie, yes.
And I will strive a balance between the two.
Thank you very much there, Natalie. Okay, well, carrying on with yourself then, if we may, for the next question. We've had one that's come in here now from Preetam Chowdhury, who has asked, how will you help us international students of the I think it's the CEBE faculty extend the UK VI period from 3 days to a week? I think is it C? Did you? Yeah, of course. CEBE faculty. CB, right, okay. Sorry, it's a terminology I wasn't familiar with. Okay, yes. Well, Preetam Chowdhury has asked, how will you help us international students of the CEB faculty extend the UK VI period from 3 days to a week? How would you extend the CEB faculty from 3 days to 1 week? I said Natalie, sorry, yeah. Oh, sorry, I do apologise. I thought I mentioned, yeah, okay. Yeah, if you'd like to... Okay. Yes, please, yeah.
So, for those who don't know, the visa regulations are set by the Home Office in the government rather than the university. So the university's international office and the international advisors are employed to follow the rules set by the government. So just to make it clear, it is the government that makes the decision rather than the university. So previously, I don't have any experience doing in this particular very specific 3 day to a week period, but not long ago, myself and Jasper, your current president, has negotiated with the Home Office and local councillors about how much international students actually contribute to the economy. International students contribute 1.95 billion, a massive figure to the Birmingham economy. So we told the City Council that the government should extend the graduates pilot scheme from the 23 Russell Group universities that the current international graduates can work here for 6 months to all the universities, and BCU should be included. I think that skill is transferable. I will just do the same thing, look at how much international students are valuable to the university, how much they contribute to us, and how great they make us at universities, because obviously it's beneficial to home students as well when they see such a fun, diverse community of people. It's benefits to the whole of the student body. So use these statistics, use the research I have, and lobby the government in the national
Natalie,
level.
Okay, thank you. We'll have to finish on that one there. Thank you very much. Okay, then, and yourself, please, Vicky.
So visas are obviously a very, very complex thing to apply for, to maintain, and to make sure you are following the right regulations. It's not something I've worked on during my time as VP experience because it's not within my remit. However, I would work closely with the International Students Officer and also with Student Affairs, who do have specific visa advisors, to make sure that we could get the right information, find out what students want, whether it be 3 days, a week, 10 days, and then lobby the university and lobby the government to see if we can get those changes implemented. Obviously, it is a government thing with a visa. They have these regulations for a reason, and they can't just change it for one university. So we have to be realistic about taking these proposals to the government, but then we might not get the response that we'd want.
Okay, thank you very much there, Vicky. Okay, on to the next question we've had here. The question here is from Paris Chopra, who has asked, what about the fitness? Will you assure us that you will do something for student fitness, like a gym at the uni, so that we can remain fit? If we could carry on with yourself on that one, please, Vicky.
So we've got all the new sports facilities here at City South with the fantastic new building that we've just had opened. I think it's not just about getting facilities on campus, but it's also encouraging students to engage with the activities that we had through the societies, and also that it's not just fitness isn't just good for your physical health, it's also good for your mental health, and making sure that students make that link, encouraging them to be healthy, providing tips on how they can stay active, getting them to walk a little bit further every day, use the stairs instead of the lift, encouraging things like that, not just having things like a gym on campus.
Thank you very much. And yourself, please, Natalie.
So, as those of you know, BCUSU has a lot to offer. We have some brilliant sports teams, obviously, as Vicky has rightly mentioned, the new sporting facilities over at City South and the BCU active sessions. This year I have worked my absolute ass off to tell every student that, there is something you can join. Especially in this campus, City South, I'm aware that mature students or some of the students might not be on social media. So I've been out here, I've kind of, hello, can I speak to you for a minute? Do you know we have yoga session available? Do you know we have badminton session available? So I think it's really important that students are aware. And secondly, at the minute, most of the activities cost us money to join. Even the BCU active sessions, you still have to pay £2 per session to join. I have worked tirelessly this year as VP Development to work with the Development Opportunities team to see how we can do payments in... So pay monthly. I mean, you don't have to pay all your £75 Bucks card fee all at one. Sorry, 65, all in one go. And I've been working tirelessly with Student Affairs to see what additional funding can be provided for students suffering from financial hardship to break down that barriers so they can able to join activities as well. Because the University Hardship Fund currently only covers basic need like food, accommodation, and I so agree that activities is so much better for students' mental health, and it makes you so much happier as a person. It's a great way of making lifelong friends, so I will fight for that.
Thank you very much there. Thank you. Okay, then. So we'll go to our studio audience in a second and see if they have any other questions they'd like to ask. But going on to another question that's come in here now. The question here is from Kathy Zoe Byra. Would you consider reduced fees within the university for goods and services provided? And if we could carry on with yourself on that one, please, Natalie.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Of course I can, yes. The question was, would you consider reduced fees within the university for goods and services provided? Is that something you would be involved with particularly? Well, either of you if you were the president.
Okay. I will be really honest. I haven't thought about that. As a president, I'll be an honest person, and I haven't managed to cover all the areas yet, but that is something I will look into. Obviously, for Students' Union, every pound you spend at the cafe behind there or in the shops plows straight back into improving student support, student services that we provide. So I think wherever possible, we can try and I think the prices currently are, I think there are room to reduce it, but I think it is acceptable at the minute. However, the university does provide food bank vouchers for those who are struggling. They do provide train passes, bus passes to those who are struggling financially. And as I said, we need... Obviously, we need to be able to maintain the commerciality of the Students' Union so that we get that money in to improve student services. So if a student is struggling financially, as I said, the university does have a hardship fund for students to apply for. I will work really hard to make sure every single student knows about it, utilise my strengths, that is engaging with students, to let them know this is available to you and empower them to seek support financially if they need to. As I said, I'll make students at the heart of every decision we make. So if there is a demand to reduce prices, then I will do intensive research to see how many students are affected. I will do a lot of research, speak to all the liberation officers, see how this will affect their liberation groups, and make it happen.
Thank you very much there. And yourself, please, Vicky.
Thank you. So the understanding I've got from the question is that there would be a reduction in fees for students who maybe offer the university a product or a service, so volunteering, working with the university. I think it's quite a reasonable request, but I think we do actually have to be realistic. There are students who are based at City South who do take part in lots and lots of placements, and to offer a huge reduction in fees that reflects that number of placements would be very, very difficult, and I think it would be hard to make a system that was fair to all students. However, I think, you know, if we build in close relationships between students who are showing dedication to the university around their course, then it's possibly something that can be discussed with senior university management.
Okay, thank you very much there for that one, Vicky. Okay, do we have any other questions from our studio audience? Okay, I think the lady in the back row had her hand up first of all, please.
My question is to do with political voice. Many of the students are very passionate about politics in regards to lobbying for reduction in fees and also increase in funding. What is your strategy for the future with raising the profile of the student political voice of BCU?
Okay then, if you could answer that one, please, Vicky.
So I think obviously the national politics do affect what goes on within universities, and I think we do have to be mindful of that. And if it is something such as tuition fees, we should be lobbying the government, and we should be making sure that we are backing specific political parties. I think it very much depends on the student body and what they want, whether they do actively want to be involved. And if they do, that is something that as a students' union we can facilitate. There's nothing wrong at all with making sure the student voice is heard nationally. I have spoken in Parliament on student mental health. I've spoken in Parliament about mature and part-time students. So I think getting that voice out there to government level is absolutely crucial.
Vicky, thank you very much. And finally to yourself, please, Natalie.
Just wondering who voted in the general election in June. So obviously, as a students' union for the general election, the officers have actively ran a voter registration campaign to get students out there and voting. Obviously, because we're a very diverse student body, everyone will have a slightly different political view. So my job as the president is to empower you to go out and vote. And that's exactly what we did in June. We went out there and tell students, oh, you should vote. And we give them all the information and we empower them to make their own decision how they want the future of their education to look like. Last year, the NUS, National Union of Students, ran a Boycott the NSS campaign because they don't want fees to rise. However, students in our student advisory panel, which is part of our democratic structure, have voted that BCU is not going to support the boycott. As president, I'm here to represent all 24,000 students, not my own personal views. Therefore, I will listen to what the student advisory panel has put forward and campaign according to what the student advisory panel have said. Back in December, the government in Parliament has been discussing whether to have a second EU referendum. I, as your current Vice President, have posted all the relevant information on Facebook, actively telling students, if you have an opinion, contact your local MP. That's how you make your student voice heard. As President, I'm here to give students the tools, empower them, giving them all the right information, whether it's contacting an MP or registering to vote, to let students take charge of their own journey here at BCU. This will not only benefit their time here, but will empower them to grow as a person.
Natalie, thank you ever so much there. We're going to have to finish on that point there. Okay then, well, thank you very much for our studio audience, some of the questions you had by our two president-elects here, and obviously all the tweets that we've had that have come in, the Facebook messages. We've done our best to try and read them all out, and some excellent points brought across to you all. Okay, so you can find out more about our two candidates here by looking on the BCUSU.com for more details about their actual manifestos.
Or indeed, should you have been anything you've heard or seen today you're not particularly happy with, that you'd like to actually have run, which is voting for the reopen of nomination, you can, of course, go for that option. Okay, then, we'll see you all a bit later on, where later on we'll be having the International Student Officers candidates on here pitching themselves. Don't go away. Thank you.